Alright guys, so now we're going to focus on how are the parts of a circle related. For those of you that had Mr. Smith for 6th hour, this should be a review for you, and some of this is going to be a review from 6th grade, and then some of it is going to be new for 7th grade. So the first thing that we want to talk about is this here. So we would have a circle has many specific parts, including, so let's fill this in, a circle has many specific parts, including a radius, and the radius is going to be from the center of the circle to any point on the circle. So this is considered a radius, the same as this is considered a radius. Okay, so I could draw endless lines from the center to the circle, and they would be considered a radius. The second is a diameter. The diameter is going to be any line that goes through the center but also goes through the entire circle, and this is going to be your diameter. The last thing is circumference. Circumference is the distance around a circle. So it's the perimeter of that circle. Something that is new for 7th grade is to determine the ratio between the circumference, which is the distance around, and the diameter. So here it tells you that the ratio of y to x, this is your y, this is your x. So you would have 6.28 divided by 2. So 6.28 divided by 2 is going to give you 3.14. For the second one, you have 12 and 56 hundredths divided by 4, which is going to give you 3.14. The third one, we have 21.98 divided by 7, which is equal to 3.14. The last one, we have a circumference of 31.4 divided by 10, which gives you a quotient of 3.14. Now, this number is significant in geometry. We know that by the symbol pi, and that is approximately 3.14. Now, pi is an irrational number, so that means it never ends, but we round it to 3.14. Now, pi is found on your calculator. If you have the TI-30X, it is going to be right here above the caret symbol. If you have the 30XS, it's going to be right here above the caret symbol. Now, you have two formulas here. You have circumference is equal to 2 pi r, or circumference is equal to pi times d. Now, notice both of these are dealing with the circumference. D would stand for the diameter, so if you're given the whole length, you could use this formula. If you were just given the radius, you would use this formula. So for instance, for circle number 1, we are given a radius, so please put an r there. So we're going to use 2 pi r. Plug in numbers, we're going to plug in a 6. So we have 2 pi 6. And now the circumference. Some of your calculators, when you go to type this in, then you can have, it would give you 12 pi. That is called in terms of pi. So if you want to leave it like this, that's okay. I would prefer that you try to get the final answer. So if we did this, we have 2 pi 6. Hit enter, and you get this, 37, round that to the tenths place, 7/10. So the circumference is equal to 37 and 7 inches. For the next part, here we're given the diameter. So I'm going to use pi times diameter. For plug-in, it's going to be, I'm going to write as 14 pi. Remember, this is in terms of pi, is how this is called. Sometimes on map tests or standardized tests, they will tell you to leave it in terms of pi, or they'll say use 3.14 for substitution. So we're going to leave it in terms of pi here, and then you would go to your calculator, and you can do 14 pi, hit enter, and then here we get 43.98. I would probably round that up to 44. So circumference is equal to 44 centimeters. Do not forget your units. Here we are given the radius. So I'm going to mark that as the radius. The formula is 2 pi r. The plug-in is 2 pi 3.5. Now again, if you wanted to leave it in terms of pi, you multiply your coefficients. So we have 7 pi. And then if you wanted to know the exact, you would have 2.99, which I would round that up to 22 meters. So again, the important part that you need to understand here is pi is equal to 3.14, what the radius looks like, what the diameter looks like, and that circumference is the distance around the circle. It's the perimeter of that circle. Alright, now let's look at the second worksheet. Here we have a radius of 10. That means I have a diameter of 20. The diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. Okay? So, since I'm able to maneuver between these two, it doesn't necessarily matter which formula you use. I'm going to use 2 pi r, and that's going to be circumference is equal to 2 pi 10. You can multiply these to be 20 pi, or if you wanted to put it in your calculator, it should give you about 62.8 inches. The formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. Now for area, there is only one formula, so you have to find what the radius is. In this case, it was given to us. So we have area is equal to pi 10 squared. Remember, 10 squared is 10 times 10, so the area is equal to 100 pi. That's in terms of pi. And then the area is going to be 314 inches, and area is always squared. For the second problem, you are given the diameter, so the diameter is 12, If you're given the diameter and you want the radius is the diameter divided by 2. So half of 12 is 6. I'm going to use 2 pi r. So we have circumference is equal to 2 pi 6. Multiply your coefficients. That's called in terms of pi, so 12 pi. And then 12 pi in your calculator should be around 37.7 feet. Okay. For the area, we have pi r squared. So area is equal to pi r, the radius is 6 squared. Remember, 6 squared is 6 times 6. So area is 36 squared. Or, I'm sorry, 36 pi. And that should give you 113. Remember that area is always squared. The bottom one, it gives us the radius of 3. Remember the diameter, if given the radius, is radius times 2. So 3 times 3 is going to give me 6. That's the diameter. The formula I'm going to use is 2 pi r. So the circumference is equal to 2 pi. The r is 3. Circumference is 6r. This is called in terms of pi. The circumference is 18.8 meters. The formula for area is pi r squared. So area is equal to pi 3 squared. Remember 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9 pi. And the area is 28.3 meters squared. The last problem has a diameter of 18. The radius, when given the diameter, is the diameter divided by 2. So half of 18 is 9. The formula that I'm going to use is 2 pi r. So circumference is 2 pi times 9. Circumference is 18 pi. This is called in terms of pi. And if you wanted to do this worked out, it's 56.5 centimeters. The formula for this one is pi r squared. That's the area. So area is equal to pi 9 squared. Remember, this is 9 squared is 9 times 9. So the area is equal to 81 pi, which is 254.3 centimeters squared. Alright guys, so again, if you need any further help, please don't hesitate to contact Ms. Banks or myself, and we hope everybody is staying safe at home. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let us know. Thank you. Have a great day.